Good morning, Toasters. I want to touch on this Takeoff death. Takeoff, the rapper from the Migos. I want to touch on that because I think there's so many lessons we can learn from it. So many things we can pull from it, especially young men. And so that's who I talk to mostly, men in general, but young men also, because I've been a young man before. And so I know some of the challenges they face. I know a lot of the challenges they face, especially growing up where I grew up. I know a lot of the challenges. But aside from that, just being a young man, period, no matter where you grew up, we're going to face some common challenges. And so I can speak to that. But, man, this death seems surreal. This seems eerie, man. What's crazy is about 2 weeks ago, I streamed a new album from Takeoff and Quavo. And I'm like, man, this album is jamming, and I don't listen to a lot of rap, especially, young rap. But them dudes be talking that talk, not too far out there, not too grand, but, they talk that talk, man, and, they have, what you call it, some reach. They can go broad with their subject matter. So, I like the young cats. I like Offset too, who's not part of the group anymore. But I like those young cats, man. So a few young cats I like Kodak Black. He may come off ignorant, man. If you really listen to the young brother, man, the brother intellectual. He just, from the region he's from, he just talks the way he talks. And he acts a certain way. But if you really listen, he's no dummy, the boy Kodak Black. But it's a few young cats I listen to. But mostly, man, I'm a blues guy, 80s R&B, 90s R&B. I go back to the 70s and 60s and some of that stuff, man. I'm an old soul in that. I might check out some Jeezy, some Rick Ross, but it's a certain type of subject matter, I like to dig into when it comes to rap. Some old Tupac, maybe some Biggie. But having said all that, man, I really like those young cats, man, really did. And I'm telling you, man, in 2014, my kids, my two youngest kids were in elementary. And my daughter at the time had to be like in 4th or 5th grade. 2014, I don't know, I hadn't done the math, the calculations. I know that's 8 years, but I really don't know what grade she was in. I know she was in elementary, 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade, something like that. And so, you try to vibe with your kids, kind of get into their world, what they're listening to. And I remember a song was playing on the radio when I picked them up from school. It was Fight Night. And so we listening to it as I'm driving them, to picking them up from school, going back home. And, you just try to get on their level, like I said, and have some commonality where y'all can communicate, right? So we listened to this song, Fight Night by the Migos. And they were like a brand new group, kind of. And so I remember telling her, asking her, I said, who's this cat with the deep voice? I said, that's the guy right there. I like that guy. And she was like, oh, that's Takeoff. I said, I like him. She was like, Quavo. That's the guy, Dad, Quavo. I said, yeah, he's nice. I said, but this guy with the deep voice, he's different. Just his delivery, his voice. He's different. The way he uses his words, his cadence. I said, there's something different about that young brother there. And so I remember that. And that's always been my favorite out the group. But I like all three of the guys. But that's always been my favorite. His voice is very distinctive. And he's gotten better over time too, man. So you just got to respect his growth. And so I just remember that. And then they did the song with Lil Uzi. I can't remember that title right off. But, I liked him in that. Bad and Bougie, I think it was. I don't think he's on that. Maybe he's on that. I don't know. But, certain songs I liked. But I remember that, man. That stood out when I heard about his death. That conversation, that dialogue, that exchange me and my daughter had when she was in elementary, and she's in high school now, so that's how long ago that was. But man, there's so many layers to this, man. But this is the thing, man. You really got to be secure in who you are. Appreciate where you made it from. Maybe it's cool to go back sometimes to visit with certain people, you know, from the hood. But you just can't be everywhere. You can't be easily accessible, easy to touch. You just can't be, because you're on a different level now. It's not just because of money, because of responsibility too. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, eating off this brother, that survive off of this brother. And everybody's affected. So if you can't stay away and do things for yourself, you know, do things for others, the people that depend on you and eat on you. You know, you got to know, like, I got to get back home. Whatever happens, I got to make it back home. So I got to not put myself in certain situations. This whole mob ties thing, man. So they're hanging with Jay Prince, allegedly, Jay Prince Jr. And, you know, they're over this, the founders or the heads of this mob ties, this movement, this group, which I think is a lot of BS. I think it's just another way to exploit, eat off, intimidate other black people. That's what I think. It's a marketing scheme, you know, to keep your name out there, keep your presence out there, to make you seem like you're this powerful movement and unit, entity. And so, you know, people want to be attached to that. People are going to look at that, focus on that. And in turn, that brings notoriety, that brings money, right? And so I get it. But, you know, it's the same old, what's been going on in the rap game. But, you know, these guys aren't as powerful as they pretend to be. You know, allegedly, there's a dice game between, you know, a few guys. Quavo was involved in a dice game with some mob ties guys. And there was a verbal altercation. And people started flinching, flexing, and guns were pulled, and bullets were released. And allegedly, Takeoff was hit by friendly fire. It was an accident. But the accident doesn't even happen, man, or things are ran properly, accordingly, if leadership is intact, if people are responsible, and if you are really running your mob ties like a mob. Let's think about this, man. This guy Quavo got into it with, he probably wasn't a hip-hop royalty. He probably wasn't an entertainer. He was a soldier, probably, under Jay Prince Jr. Why is he getting into it with my guest, my soldier? Why is he even gambling with my guest, who's hip-hop royalty? See, there's layers to this thing. Like, I'm just saying, if you're going to run this like the mob, right, certain people don't mix and mingle. Certain people don't even speak to one another because there's levels to it. Certain people can't be touched if you're going to run it like the mob. So, like I said, it's all a facade. These brothers don't have order. They don't have discipline. They don't have the power they pretend to have. They just don't. They don't know how to run a group of men. They don't know how to lead a group of men. And if these allegations are correct, how this unfolded, Quavo is not a good leader either, man. You don't get into an argument. You know, I heard he was getting the bad end of the stick in the gambling, and he got frustrated and, you know, started getting verbally disrespectful. That's bad leadership too. And so you have to understand, as a leader, like I said before, there's people depending on me. And this is just how I think. I've always thought this way, man. If you're with me, I'm responsible for you. If you're with me by way of a friend, I'm responsible for you. I don't even have to know you, but my friend vouched for you. I know my friend, you're a friend of his, and you're rolling with us. I'm responsible for you. So I have to act in a responsible manner. I can't be reckless. I can't put your life, your safety in danger. And I may not even know you like that, but if we're together, you're rolling, I'm responsible for you. Now, everyone doesn't think like that, and I get it. And that doesn't make me a saint or an angel, but that's just my makeup. But yeah, man, you gotta understand, man, if you get into some stuff, everybody associated with you is into that. And lives can be taken. People can be harmed. So you just gotta be responsible and try to stay away from certain things. But first of all, man, those guys shouldn't even been in that situation at all. You gotta know how to move. Man, these guys are international stars. And this is where keeping it real goes wrong. It's nothing wrong from staying away from the hood. There's nothing wrong with giving back to the hood from a distance or at scheduled opportune times. Like you take a Birdman, you know. I'm sure when he goes, or even when Jay Prince Sr. goes back to the hood, it's prepared, it's scheduled, it's planned out, it's militant. Security is on point. They're not just hanging. They're there for a purpose. They're on a mission to go. But just to hang and shoot dice in the hood, nah, man. I'm not even doing it, and I don't even have the fame, right? I don't have the fame. I don't even have the amount of responsibility these young brothers have. You know, I have people feeding off of me, depending on me, but not to that extent. And I hope to very soon. You know, I love responsibility. So I hope to have that. Too much is given, much is expected, right? And so I embrace that. But we gotta clean up the culture. We gotta clean up the mentality. Gotta clean up the mindset. And nothing's gonna get better until we change our mindset, until we change our hearts. Now, you may think when I say mindset, I'm talking about the mind. That's part of it. But our biggest brain is our heart. Is our heart. I know we've been raised and taught that we have one brain. I don't believe that. I just don't believe that. And you can do your own research on this. You know, I think we have at least 3 brains, right? And it comes to the one in our head, our heart, and then our gut. I think those are our 3 brains, man. I really do. And like I said, do your own research on that. I'm just not pulling this out of the air. But we got to change the mindset. We got to lose the gangster persona. We got to lose it. You know, everyone's not going to be the same, I know. But we can't let that be the forefront. We cannot let that be the leader of the culture, the gangster persona. Now, just my personal belief, I think every man needs to have a gangster element to him, because you never know when you got to go there. You got to embrace your dark side. You got to embrace that, because your darkness, if it's used righteously, can bring light, right? So sometimes you got to go dark to expose the light. So, you know, I get it, but to just thrive in darkness for the majority of your life, or let that be the leader of a people, of a culture, is bad, because a lot of times they're leading with the wrong intent. They're not leading with darkness to bring light. They're leading with darkness to bring more darkness, to bring hurt, harm, and it's led through ego, insecurity, you know, no self-worth, low self-confidence. And so we got to get that. We got to remove that as far as being the leader. We got to, man. And so it's going to take men standing up. It's going to take, you know, women, you know, playing their role. But this thing is out of control, man. And so I know Charleston White gets a bad rap. I know Kanye West gets a bad rap when they criticize this type of black culture when they criticize the gangster rap. But hey, man, the proof is in the pudding. It's happening over and over and over. And this is probably the most paramount loss, aside from way back Biggie and Pac. Because like I said, these guys are international stars, man. International stars. They're huge. They were comparing them to like the Beatles, Wu-Tang, the Locks. I think they're bigger than them now. But they're international stars, man. They're around the world modeling and performing. And so this was a huge hit, man. And it's always in situations like this, like the one was like, damn, why him? The laid back, unassuming, chill, quiet one is hit by the straight bullet, but not the extrovert, not the outgoing one. It's the laid back one. And I think that's by design from the universe to God to bring extra attention. It would have hit different if it was Quavo. I think people would have still been sad, of course, and mourned and, felt the way. But it's like, damn, this other dude, Takeoff, like I said, he's unassuming. He's just laid back. He wasn't even gambling. He doesn't even gamble. And for it to hit him, it makes people feel away. Not saying one deserved it more than the other. I'm not saying that, but you know what I'm saying. But, yeah, we just got to change our hearts. We got to. And we got to accept tough love. When we hear these brothers critiquing and criticizing a lot of this nonsense, we got to take it on the chin. We got to take our medicine, even though it's bitter, may not taste good. But if we really know, hey, this is going to heal me. I need this. My body needs this. My mind needs this. My heart needs this. So I'm going to go ahead and take this medicine, take this whooping, because they're right. That's the problem, man. Black people, we do not want to be critiqued. We do not want to be judged, even righteously judged. We don't want to be held accountable, brought to the carpet. And I'm saying in general, I'm not saying all of us, but we got to raise the bar. We got to raise the bar of accountability. All right, man, this thing is going to get darker and darker. So, yeah, this is just surreal, because I just was streaming their album, and it just took me back when I heard about this. Like I said, the conversation, exchange I had with my daughter when she was in elementary. Me just trying to vibe with her. And her brother, he was in the car too. She and I having an exchange about it. So, yeah, man, let's do better. Let's do better. I believe in us, but it's going to take some hard work. It's going to take some discipline, and we can do it. We got to do it. So let's push forward. Let's get it done. As always, toasters, from me to you, love, peace.